Hello everybody, Naughty Nan. How's everybody doing on this Saturday? Hope everybody's doing okay. I'm starting to sound like another Canadian Leonard Cohen here. But anyway, I digress. If you're new to the channel, give us a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost a thing. Doesn't cost a thing. So there's that. And all my hangers on, thanks for hanging on and hanging in. Naughty Nan loves you. Let's get into this. I got a message for the mango moose knuckle. Cheers, dears. Oh, geez, that's right hot. It's cold here. It's minus 17 degrees here, which is about 1 degree American temperature. Just saying. So anyway, hello, Donny. It's Naughty Nan from the Great White North. I really didn't think that we'd be talking again so soon. I really didn't. Ah, who am I kidding? Let's call a moose knuckle, shall we? I told you the last time I talked to you that Canadians just didn't fall off the potato truck yesterday, and myself, I was born at night. But not last night. You said tariffs in Canada and Mexico are going to get a 25% tariff over and above what we're already being tariffed. And only a 10% hit on China? Are you kidding me? You're worried about the border and all the drugs and immigrants coming through. China's the one that's sending the stuff over, and we're going to get hit more than the ones that are causing the problem? Excuse me? Excuse me. That's me being polite. China is the one responsible for all the fentanyl coming in to both of our countries, both Canada and the United States, because you need it spelled out for you. You blame Mexico for bringing it in. It isn't Mexico. It is the good old Americans in the good old USA that are bringing that shit across the border. Yes, Donny, good old Americans. And that MS-13 gang that you're so hep on getting rid of, well, guess what? They were born and raised in Los Angeles, California. And the reason they got started was to protect Salvadorians from the other gangs that are in the United States, like the Bloods and the Crips, for example. I'm just no white woman, and I don't know much about gangs and things like that, but I do read your .gov websites, I'm telling you, and you know what? You should try it. You say Canada's been difficult to deal with. We're the nicest people on the planet, Donny. And it's like, you think all the money is going into your pocket or coming out of your pocket. But that's just not true. Let's face it, you don't pay your bills, so nothing's coming out of your pocket. Never has. You are a snake oil salesman. You say there's a $200 to $250 billion deficit that's coming out of your pocket. Really? Well, it's not coming out of your pull-ups, Donny. It's not. Let me explain how a trade deficit works. The simple reason why there's a deficit is because the U.S. imports more goods from Canada than you export north. Because knowing you, that's north and that's south. You're going to go south pretty soon, baby. Our trade deficit, yours, coming out of your pull-up, was $45 billion in 2024. Just saying. Like everything else, you have to catastrophize everything. Not everything's a catastrophe, Donny. You do have a size fixation, however. Listen, Trumpty Dumpty, you say it's really big, but we can see how it really is. When you get real close, and by the way, those are some really small hands you have there. You know what they say about small hands, Donny? Stormy Daniels told us all about. Yeah, she did. Why? We would need some pepper to make you sneeze. To make Walt and I to be able to have the tweezers to grab that quick enough. Yeah, we'd have to give you some pepper. So, whoop. That's what it would take, Donny. My grandmother used to say, what can't get up, can't get out. Just saying. So, I gotta tell you, we have a strong country up here. We really do. And we've got tons of country up here. It just goes, it goes, it goes. We get all those islands and all those waterways. That's what you want. You're not getting them. We won't sit back and let you have them. You are against DEI and all that stuff. Well, you know what? We have a strong DEI country. We depend on our immigrants, and they depend on Canada to look after them. Do you know how many people are hitting Canada.ca/immigration? It's not the poorly educated either. We don't deport those people just because of the color of their skin or who they pray to. So when people commit crimes up here, whether they're immigrants or citizens, they get arrested. They really do. So get that stupid notion out of your big head. You know, the one you had the scalp reduction on. We have way less crime in Canada than you do in the United States. You know, in Toronto last year, big city, I think there's 4 million people in it, there was less than 4%. Well, 4.6%, I think, was the crimes violent crimes with a firearm in Toronto. But guess where the guns came from, Donny? The guns came from your country. Guess where the cartels in Mexico are getting their guns? From your country. Your citizens are shipping both guns and drugs to our country, and we don't like it. The president of Mexico said the same thing. Her country's population is not into the fentanyl and all the rest of the stuff. They're not. China ships that shit to Mexico, and the drugs are made there. You name off Canada and Mexico saying we're shipping migrants, and South America is shipping. You said that they were shipping migrants from the Congo. They're bus loading them in. Do you know, when they're talking about the Congo, there's a big ocean between. What fucking bus is driving across the ocean to your doorstep? Tell me that, you fucking idiot. Jesus. And the drugs in the United States that are coming to Canada are coming from your country. If it weren't for the huge demand for coke and fentanyl and all those drugs and the crack cocaine and stuff in your country, the cartels would stop making millions if you put a stop to it. You know, if we just got together here, and I'm just spitballing something here, if we got together and pulled together and did something about addiction and homelessness, it would be the drug trades that would suffer. See, we legalized pot in Canada, so that part went downhill really fast. Vivi's all upset. She thinks somebody's at the door. But anyway, so take this for example. In just the last week and a half, January 23rd, 2025, the Toronto Metro Police Agency made the largest drug bust in Canadian history. They made $83 million of cocaine was seized at our border, 835 kilos, or 1,840.86 pounds for you Americans. That's right, they came from Mexico across your border, and it was transported through the United States up to our border, and it was our border officials that seized all those drugs. So we stopped your drugs from coming and poisoning our citizens. If your MAGA maniacs had to put the bipartisan border bill together, you could have had that feather in your feckin' cap. But no, you cut off your weenus to spite your hand, Donny. You really did. You told them to squash that bill so you could have something to bitch about. The same with Gaza. You had a private meeting with old Netanyahu there to figure out how to keep his ass out of jail and level Gaza. That's on you, Donny. But I digress. Now, on this first day of February, your tariffs on all goods from Canada is supposed to go into effect. Well, it's now 25 to 2 where I am, and there's still no big announcement that it's going into effect. Last night oh my God, Where did that little scarecrow you got as a press secretary come from? She said these weren't going to start until March 1st now. You better rein her in, for Christ's sake. She's sinking you 2 lawsuits that you lost because of her big mouth. She doesn't get it. But she did get the catalog and got the right face, just saying. When your country has enjoyed a really friendly coexistence with us, up until you and your bully tactics showed up, you fucked it all up, Donny. You really did. Guess what, Moose Knuckle? You are going to hurt the middle to lower income families on both of our countries. But guess what? We are going to hurt financially. But guess what? So will your poorly educated base that you sucked in saying everything's going to be lower in price. Have you checked your price of eggs lately? Have you checked that? Have you checked the price of gas that's going up? It's going to go up a hell of a lot more, I'm just saying. You know, Donny, felons and perverts, they belong in the big house, not the White House. So your extra 25% that you're putting on all goods coming into your country, and you say there's no room for negotiations, so guess what? No big deal, Donny. We know you suck at negotiating. And we know you suck at it because, like the 6-year-old petulant child you are, you're going to sit there with your arms all folded and you're going to have the scowl on your face. That's what you did all the time while you sat in that feckin' office the first time and saying, you can't come to my birthday. Yes, that's your negotiating tactics. Guess what? We are Canada. We are strong. We are free. But we are polite. But don't you dare mistake that for a weakness. That's the bully's first mistake. Because if we have to suffer, and we will, we won't do it quietly. We will go down fighting. And we'll go down swinging. I'm just saying. Because one thing we know, misery loves company. And we won't be suffering alone. Your whole country's going to be suffering along with us. So don't be surprised when Canada pushes your bully ass back into the shitter and takes away your makeup. Just take off, eh? Donny, you don't have the experience to deal with people with intelligence. Look at the fucking idiots that you have got in your cabinet. Tisk, 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 tisk. It's going to come and bite you in your big, fat, ample, dimply arse, I'm just saying. Anyway, 9N loves you. Be good, be safe. Please take care of everybody else. And here's the old fart bag.
Excuse me, that was ISIS, not me.
Yeah, and they're all up and running again. The band's back together because you released all them bastards, 5,000 of them, from prison. You're good at it, Donny. You're good at it. Fuck off, eh?